All right. Unit 1. Lesson 1. Our objective. Is to plot points, the distance formula, midpoint formula, coordinate plane, and geometric formulas to model and solve real-life problems. So, examples are notes. We have what's called the rectangular coordinate plane, which is another name is the coordinate plane, the Cartesian plane, XY coordinate grid. They're formed with real number lines that intersect at a right angle. The horizontal axis is your x-axis. The vertical axis is your y. The x-axis divides into quadrants. Quadrants 1, 2, 3, 4. Ordered pairs are x, comma, y. And graph of an ordered pair is the point in the coordinate plane that corresponds to the ordered pair. So, for example, to plot the point -2, 3, we start at 0, 0. We move left 2. And then we move 3 units up. So left 2, 3 units up. So that's point A. And we're going to label it A on our graph. Then to plot point B, that's 3, -4. That means I go right 3, down 4. And to plot the point 0, -2, we start at the origin. We move 0 units to the right or left, and we move 2 units down. That's C. As you can see on the grid, I have everything labeled. Here's your x-axis. Here's your y-axis. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Those the quadrants go counterclockwise. Questions there? We're going to look at the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem, if a triangle is, what type of triangle does the Pythagorean theorem go with? Right triangle. So if a triangle is a right triangle, then the sum of the squares of the legs of A and B equals the square of the length of the hypotenuse C. So here's a right triangle. Where will I find my legs of it? I heard someone say the shorter two.
Yeah, those two. The shorter two.
How do I know which ones are the shortest?
The two that make the right angle.
If the shortest sides are the two that make the right angle, because the hypotenuse, which is the longest side, is always opposite the right angle. The distance between the points -1 and, that the distance formula is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And then we square root that. This is a formula from geometry. And we're going to do example 1. We're going to find the distance between them. So where do I find my x values in an ordered pair? The first one. And if I label the -1 as x1, then the 2 has to be y1, and the 4 has to be y2. So the difference in the x is 5 minus a -1 squared plus 4 minus 2 squared. Five minus -1 is 6. 4 minus 2 is 2. So 36 plus 4 gives us a square root of 40. Then we're going to rationalize our square roots. What's perfect square number, which is 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. Those are usually you're looking at the 4 or the 9, maybe the 16. Which one of those will divide evenly into 40? Does 4 divide evenly into 40? Yeah. Does 9? 9 doesn't. So we'll do 4. So this is 4 times 10. And then the square root of 4, square root 10, what's the square root of 4? 2 square root 10. 10 then has no squared factors, so we're done. Example 2 says, show that the points 4, 0, 2, 1 and -5, -5 are the vertices of a right triangle. So how are we going to do that? I'm going to plot them. So I did a rough sketch. It sort of looks like a right triangle, but how can mathematically we prove it? Any ideas? Well, I can use Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Do I know what the length of a is? I do? What is it? How do I find it? Well, I want to find this length. I can't count because it's not straight across. But can I find the distance between 2 points?
Yes.
Yes. So let's let this be A. Let's find the distance of A. That's what we did up here, distance formula. So the x is 2 minus 4 plus 1 minus 0. That's a -2 squared plus 1 squared. Which gives us 5. This one be B. It's going to be 2 minus a -1 plus 1 minus a -5. 3 squared plus 6 squared. 9 plus 36, which is 45. Do I need to rationalize these? No. We will do any of our rationalizing that we need to do at the very end of the problem. And you'll see why here in just a minute. And then C, x's are 4 minus negative 1 squared plus 0 minus a negative 5 squared, which is 5 squared plus 5 squared, which is the square root of 50. Right here? Yeah, it was 2 minus a negative 1. Now what do we do? Yeah, we're going to put it in the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared, we're going to look to see if it equals c squared. So square root of 5 squared plus the square root of 45 squared, does it equal the square root of 50 squared? When I square root, what happens? They cancel, so we get 5 plus 45, does it equal 50? Yes, it does. So there is how we prove that something is a right angle. Graphing it is all well, but it's not an exact science. You didn't use a straight edge. I did a quick sketch. I did that quick sketch to see which one's my hypotenuse. Questions there? Okay, during the fourth quarter of a recent game, the university's quarterback threw a pass. Everybody ready? Okay, during the third quarter of a recent game, the university's quarterback threw a pass from the 32-yard line, 40 yards from the sideline. That pass was caught by the wide receiver on the 3-yard line, 15 yards from the same sideline. How long was the pass? If I draw we were what, 40 and 32. And 15 and 3. This is 40, 32. This is 15, 3. So how do I find that length? It's a distance formula. You guys do that and see what you get. And then we wanted, how long was the pass? If we wrote this in simplified square root, is that gonna make sense to your coach or to the fans? You know, if you say, oh, his pass was 4 square root 3 yards. No, they want it in decimal, 38.288 yards. So you'll put that in your calculator, you'll square root it and give me the answer. I rounded to 3 decimal places. So when you decide what you're doing with your answer, make sure that you're giving it in the context of the problem. Questions there? Yes, ma'am.
Why was the 32 on the y-axis?
Just because I chose to make this the how far they are from the sidelines at the bottom. Would it make a difference? It wouldn't make a difference which way you did it because you're just doing the difference in the x's or the difference in the y's. Say that again.
625. What is that?
It's negative 29 squared.
The one over.
This one's 625 plus 841. That's 29 squared. Negative 29 squared. Questions? Then we might have reason to find what the point is halfway between 2 points on a coordinate grid. To do that, you just add the x coordinates, divide by 2, add the y coordinates, divide by 2. That will give you the point halfway between 2 points. So find the midpoint of the line segment, joining the points negative 6, 1, and 7, 4. Well, that's just the sum of your x's divided by 2 and the sum of your y's divided by 2. Midpoints are so much easier. If it doesn't divide evenly, just leave it in fraction form. Questions on that? A local contracting company had annual revenues of $15 million in 2003 and $17.2 million in 2005. Without knowing any additional information, what figure would you estimate to be the 2004 revenue? Well, what do you notice about 2004? It's halfway between 2003 and 2005. So we could write these as ordered pairs. 2003, he had 15 million. 2005, he had 17.2. So we could find the midpoint. 2003, let's do 005 divided by 2. 15 plus 17.2 divided by 2. When I add the years up, I get 4,008. What's 4,008 divided by 2? 2004. We're good. 15 plus 17.2 is what? 32.2 divided by 2. So in 2004, they had revenue of what? 16.1 million. Make sure when you answer that, you put that million in there. Why would they go 32.2 or 15 million instead of writing it out? That's a big number. So we can do 15 million. We just have to make sure when we answer it, that we actually put that million there. Questions there? Translation: to shift a point to the right C units, we add C to the X coordinate. To shift it to the left, we subtract C from the X coordinate. If we move it up, we add C to the Y coordinate. If we move it down, we subtract C from the Y coordinate. So example 6, which this should be after that for some reason all right, a triangle has a vertice at -1, 3, 5, 1, and 2, 4. Let's graph our triangle. So -1, -3, 5, 1, and 2, 4. So now they want us to shift the triangle 2 units to the left and 3 units up. So we'll take each one of these coordinates, we'll shift 2 units to the left and 3 up. 2, 1, 2, 3. So what's our new vertices? Well, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one became 0, 7. This one became 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. And this one, -3, 0. If we go to the left, did we subtract 2 units from each one of these? What's a -1 minus 2? 5 minus 2? 2 minus 2? And then we shifted up 3. So did we add 3 to each Y coordinate? Yes, we did. So if I give you these problems in your homework, do you have to graph it and then do the shifting? No, just apply those translations and you're good. Questions there? Make sure you know common formulas for area, perimeter, circumference, and volume. What do I mean by perimeter? The distance around something. Circumference is the distance around a circle. Area for a circle, pi r squared. Circumference, pi times diameter. Area for a triangle, 1/2 base times height. Area of a rectangle, base times height, times width, things like that. Any questions there?